Now, the simple gesture can make people decide that they want to live together for the next 50 years, or it can just be a way to say hello. It's this huge spectrum between a hello and a life-changing moment that is kissing. How do you explain that to a kid? As adults, when we see toddlers kiss each other, we immediately say, "Aww," because we see that kiss as completely non-sexual. On the flip side, if we learn that our 9-year-old is kissing a classmate during recess, most of us feel really uncomfortable because we also look at kissing as a sexual behavior. Now, most parents only address kissing as it relates to the consent talk. What we'll say to our kid is, you can't just kiss someone without asking them first. Or we model that behavior and language by saying to them, "May I give you a kiss?" Now, going back to that kissing spectrum, it's important to note that not every kiss sends a rush of serotonin and dopamine throughout the body. There are kisses that can do that, but then there are kisses that fall flat. Philometologists would say that it's not the kiss in itself, but the smell of the person, basically the pheromones of the person. Now, you hear the word pheromones and immediately think, as an adult, sex pheromones. But it's not as easy as that to say that the reason we kiss someone is so that we can smell their pheromones and decide if we're sexually attracted to them. Scientists who study human sexuality will say it's a bit more complicated than that. But here's the thing. Pheromones don't start getting produced until puberty kicks off. So why would a prepubescent kid want to kiss another prepubescent kid? Well, it's because that kiss has nothing to do with sex. I mean, think about it. We don't kiss someone in order to have sex. I mean, you're with me on that. So then the question is, why do we kiss? And so in order to answer that question, let me tell you about the 5 circles of sexuality. When it comes to the 5 circles of sexuality, we can experience all of them without having sex. Having a sexuality doesn't equal the act of having sex. So then which circle of sexuality does kissing fall into? Okay, so why don't we try this? I'm gonna tell you what the 5 circles of sexuality are, and while I'm doing that, you think about which circle you would place the act of kissing in. If you're finding this video to be interesting or helpful, go on and tap that like button. Circle number 1, we've got sensuality. So there was a study done in the 1960s that's actually quite sad because the scientists took baby monkeys away from their mothers in order to see if the need for skin-to-skin contact was really necessary. So what the scientist did is he offered the baby monkeys 2 potential surrogate mothers. So one was made of very soft cloth material, so it was really, really snuggly, but it withheld food. So you could cuddle it, but you couldn't eat. The other option that was offered to baby monkeys as a surrogate was made of wood and a wiry type material. So it wasn't very cuddly, but it did provide food. So in the end, the scientists found that the monkeys preferred not to eat and would more often stay on the soft and comfortable surrogate. The conclusion that was made was that even from birth, we crave touch, first from our mothers and fathers, and then from friends and partners. You may have heard of that term skin hunger, and so it's that desire to touch, right? And it's not necessarily a sexual touch, although it could be. So the circle of sensuality is really about touch and the enjoyment of our body and the awareness of our body and others. So what do you think? Does kissing belong in the circle of sensuality? The second circle is intimacy. The simplest way to describe intimacy is that humans want to experience emotional closeness to other humans, and it's the ability to do so. Think of it as, how do you tell someone what you need or that you love them? It's intimate and it puts you in a vulnerable position. They may say that they love you back or not. So let me ask you, would you put kissing into the circle of intimacy? The next circle is identity, and this is gender, sexual, and romantic identity. So this is like understanding gender roles and expression, as well as romantic and sexual orientation, as well as being able to differentiate between gender and sex. So would kissing be placed in the circle of identity? Now the next circle, and we're up to number 4 if you're counting, is the circle of sexual and reproductive health. Think of this one as what you probably learned in your school-based sex ed, right? It's learning about anatomy, the types of sex, and the consequences of sex. So would kissing be a part of sexual and reproductive health? And finally, the 5th circle is sexualization. This circle is about using sexuality to influence, manipulate, or control another person. So think of the circle of sexualization as like a spectrum of behaviors. At one end, you've got something like flirting, which could be okay, or if flirting is done with malintent, it could mean that they are flirting with the person in order to manipulate or influence them. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got things like sexual assault, abuse, and rape. So that's it. Those are the 5 circles. Where would you place kissing? I'm going to tell you where it belongs in It belongs in circle number 1, sensuality. And here's why. I mean, think of all the different types of kissing, right? There's kissing to say hello, or there's kissing to show caring, or there's kissing someone to show them that you want to be with them and that you want to feel closer to them. And so this is why kissing could overlap into the circle of intimacy, because that emotional connection that could occur during the kiss could feel very strong, or it could not. Like one person could want to kiss and the other person does not. And so therefore that risk taking to kiss someone before asking for consent could end poorly. So to a prepubescent child, kissing is not a gateway to sex. It's generally what they've observed in how to show someone that you care for them and you want to feel closer to them. I mean, they've observed you kissing them and their siblings and your partner, and they've also seen it in Disney movies, because Disney does not shy away from kissing. Kids watch those movies and they experience the range of emotions that they are designed to give the viewer. Just like how we have a feeling of excitement when characters in a show that we're watching finally kiss. Let's use Frozen as an example. Kids see Kristoff pausing to ask for consent before Anna and him kiss. I always jump at the opportunity to reinforce consent language with my kids when this scene comes on because it's done in such a totally relatable way. Some of the questions that I've asked like my 7 and 5-year-old were, why did Kristoff want to kiss Anna? Why did Anna want to kiss Kristoff? Why did Kristoff ask instead of just kissing Anna like he wanted to? The first 2 questions helped to show my kids what the qualities were that Anna and Kristoff liked about each other, and that the kiss was the physical touch to show that. And then we also talk about ways that they could have shown each other that they like being with each other and in each other's company without kissing. My kids over the years went from saying things like hugging and high-fiving to holding hands and just doing fun stuff together. I do think this shows the simplicity of a child's mind when it comes to a kiss versus how we as adults look at it. In our adult mind, when we see that scene of Anna and Kristoff kissing, we're thinking, all right, this is just the start. You know, that kiss is gonna lead them down to doing stuff in circle number 4. But to a primary age kid, it's just a kiss. It's a kiss of comfort, a kiss to show someone that you enjoy being around them. Because when your kid receives kisses from you, they feel good. And for some kids, they simply extrapolate that to their friends and peers for who they want to show caring and closeness towards. So how do you talk about that with your kid? Unlike sex, there is no age of consent to kiss someone. So using the phrase, kissing is only something adults do, doesn't really apply here. So as a parent, you're gonna need to set a boundary and enforce it. In order to do that, you're gonna need to know when kissing is acceptable and unacceptable according to your values and beliefs, and then you're gonna have to explain that to your kid. Answer these following questions, and I think you'll start to hash out how you wanna talk about kissing with your primary and intermediate age child. When is kissing on the cheek acceptable? When is kissing on the lips acceptable? When is it acceptable to kiss someone without their consent? When is kissing friends acceptable? Why do or don't you kiss your friends? What does a kiss mean? Why do adults kiss? Why do children kiss? If you take the time to answer those questions and remind yourself that to a prepubescent child, kissing is not leading to sex, then you're probably ready to have a talk about kissing. And if you're looking for like scripts, like what to actually say to your kid when it comes to kissing or sex or masturbation or the porn talk, then I would encourage you to go on and fill out the form that is linked in the description and comments, and let's find out if my parenting course and program is right for you.